Hi, brothers and sisters. So, I've been laying here just doing a study on my phone. And yesterday, we have some neighbors across the street from us, and they own 2 or 3 restaurants. I believe they're Mexican restaurants. And they do the parades with their horses, and they're involved in rodeo and stuff, and they wanted to keep their bulls over here in the back of our little property, which was a fair trade because the fire department's really big around here for keeping the grass down. So we live out in the country. So we made a fair trade that they would put their roping bulls back here and to eat down the grass, and they would give us $40 a month. So, I think it was yesterday, my husband came in with 2 $20 bills. But I was thinking about that, and I remember reading an article that they were looking for the red calf or the red bull. The Jews were. And that was a couple months ago. And I was thinking, have they found it yet? To do their slaughtering when the temple's rebuilt, which the temple is in the works of being funded. They already have it laid out. They already have, if you do research on it, you'll discover that they already have a society that's been set up for a long time with blueprints for it and everything. And they already have, they've been doing, here it comes back to the DNA. They've been doing DNA testing on the sons who they think are the sons of Levi, the priest. Because all the other people of the tribes supposedly intermarry or whatever, but they're hard to trace. But the people that came from the tribes of Levi, the Levitical priests, that they have they stayed pretty holy all throughout these 2,000 years, I guess. So they've been easy to track down and kind of do their DNA, and they're still trying to kind of figure out who's going to be the one that will be doing the slaughter and be able to enter into the Holy of Holies. And they have already made all the golden, I think it's stuff that's been recovered that went missing when the Romans tore down the temple. A lot of things went missing, and the Jewish people have, I don't see anything where they've claimed that they found all this stuff, but there's an article I read that they actually have it, and they actually have the Ark of the Covenant, which is below, I forget where I read it, but in one of my dreams, I had actually seen 2 people carrying this Ark of the Covenant, and it was coming out of this tunnel, and I said, the Ark of the Covenant? They found the Ark of the Covenant, and I was just blown away in my dream. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, they found the Ark of the Covenant, and then they've had it hiding, you guys. So they have that. I mean, I'm just going to say they have it. And then they have the breastplate that the priests would wear with all the gems on it. They've already remade one of those. I mean, they've made everything that the priest is supposed to wear that is documented. And earlier, like the bowls and the golden, the whole thing that they had for the altars in the Holy of Holies. And earlier I was reading, let's see, where'd it go? Oh, it was the dramatized. Okay, it was number 17. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and take every one of them a rod according to the house of their fathers, and of all their princes according to the house of their families, 12 rods. Write thou every man's name upon his rod, and thou shalt write Aaron's name upon the rod of Levi, and for one rod shall be for the head of the house of their fathers. And thou shalt lay them up in the tabernacle of the congregation before the testimony, where I will meet with you. And it shall come to pass that the man's rod whom I shall choose shall blossom, and I will make to increase from me the murmurings of the children of Israel, whereby they murmur against you. And Moses spake unto the children of Israel, and every one of their princes gave him a rod apiece, for each prince one according to their father's house, even 12 rods, and the rod of Aaron was among their rods. And Moses laid up the rods before the Lord in the tabernacle of witness. And it came to pass that on the morrow Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded, and brought forth buds, and bloomed, blossoms, and yielded almonds. And Moses brought out all the rods from before the Lord unto all the children of Israel, and they looked, and took every man his rod. And the Lord said unto Moses, Bring Aaron's rod again before the testimony, to be kept for a token against the rebels. And thou shalt quite take away their murmurings from me, that they not die. And Moses did so. As the Lord commanded him, so did he. And the children of Israel spake unto Moses, saying, Behold, we die, we perish, we all perish. Whosoever cometh anything near unto the tabernacle of the Lord shall die. Shall we be consumed with dying? So that was just like a little fragment of what I was reading. In the chapter before that was, they were just like being coming against Moses, and the Lord had their tents swallowed up into the earth. And so I don't know why I was reading about the 12 rods and that Aaron sprouted out, but it just really stood out to me with everything the Lord was showing me today. And about the priests, because I know there's like a Aaronic priesthood and a Melchizedek priesthood and Levitical priesthood. I've been trying to like learn about them, but anyway, so, and then I was reading 2 Thessalonians 2:3 about the son of perdition, because Obama is trying to take center stage. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So is he about to be actually revealed? I mean, CNN said today that he was the next best thing to Jesus Christ. And I remember too on CNN, Megyn Kelly had made a comment about something had happened, and she was like, is it the rapture? Or something like that. I don't know, but I thought that was kind of weird. Anyway, so then I was reading about Jacob and Laban, and about Esau after the twins split, and he went to go live with Laban, his uncle. And this was just a rundown, but it was talking about, from this point of view, it was talking about how, let me see here. Maybe this wasn't it. Here it is. Okay. I think this is it. Where was it? When it was talking about, let me see this. It's a PDF. Okay, so when Jacob was with Laban, it was talking about how this article, how he was, the angel had appeared to him and told him, I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, so when Jacob suggested to Laban that he would keep the spotted sheep that would come from a flock of only white sheep, Jacob must have known something significant about genetics to have confidence to devise a plan where seemingly he would potentially work for many years without any payment. White is a dominant trait among sheep, and although Laban only gave Jacob the white sheep, 2/3 of these sheep would be heterozygotes for speckles. This means that 2/3 of these sheep's genotypes included genetic material for white wool as well as speckled wool. But because white is the dominant color over speckled, only the white genes were expressed. So this is just coming from like a genetic point of view. If the heterozygotes mated, there would be 25% chance of the parent sheep bearing spotted sheep in the first generation. Yet, if any homozygotes, there's some heterozygotes and homozygotes mated with the heterozygotes, all of the offspring would appear white. When Jacob recounts what happened to his wives, he said that an angel came to him and said, "Lift up now thine eyes and see, all the he-goats which heap upon the flock are streaked, speckled, and grizzled." It's Genesis 30:12. In a dream, the angel reveals to Jacob how to distinguish between the heterozygous and the homozygous sheep. The heterozygotes showed hybrid vigor, meaning they had an increased rate of conception compared to the homozygotes. In Genesis 30:41-42, it states that the stronger of the flock did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the flock in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. But when the flock were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's. The hybrids are referred to as Mikusharat, which means stronger, and the purebred breeds are referred to as Atufim, or feebler. Jacob gave Laban all the homozygotes, the feebler sheep, while he kept all the heterozygotes, the stronger sheep. The speckled rods that Jacob put in the water troughs was simply a method used by shepherds when mating their sheep. Some guy in a Jewish university. This practice has nothing to do with the birth of spotted sheep from white sheep. In fact, when the angel appeared to Jacob, the angel made no mention of the need to place the spotted rods in front of the water troughs. In the book Genesis, the big something, blah, 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 maintains that the sticks were strictly placed in front of the sheep to startle them backwards, increasing the rate of sexual intercourse between the sheep. He too asserts that the speckles on the rod did not contribute to the birth of speckled sheep. In addition, when Jacob recounts what happened between him and Laban, he makes no mention of the speckled rod to his wives. This implies that Jacob believed there was a genetic mechanism involved in the transfer of speckles, rather than the rods influencing the offspring. On the other hand, there is one major logistical hole when reconciling Mendelian genetics and the story of Jacob and Laban. Rashi on Genesis 30:38 states that when the female animal saw the rods, it was startled at the sight of them and recoiled. Its mate then pairing with it, it afterwards gave birth to young in the likeness of the rods to which they were exposed. So, yeah, I was just reading kind of through this, just kind of getting, I don't know, Lord just leading me around. This is, therefore it seems that according to Rashi, the startling of the sheep during intercourse created a hereditary imprint. This is similar to the concept of memories being encoded genetically in our DNA using electric shock. I don't know, that sounds crazy. Anyway. So, what do the other parts say? Okay, so let's move on to the bull. So then I was sitting there thinking about the heifers, the cows, and I was like, did they find one yet? And I came upon this article. Let's see. Speak unto the children of Israel that they bring, this is Numbers chapter 19, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. The red cow is to be slaughtered, burned, and then its ashes are to be turned into a paste and used in anointing the builders of the third temple. News of the red heifer's appearance would not bode well with Muslims. All of the sites of the old Jewish temples are occupied by one of Islam's holiest shrines, the Dome of the Rock. Extremists have wanted to destroy the dome and the adjoining Al-Aqsa Mosque to make way for the new temple. If a red heifer is born and found to be clean, this would be a signal that perhaps it is time to destroy the Dome of the Rock and begin the building of the new temple in Israel. Now, I think I had this dream that I was looking at this, if I think it's what I think it is, that it is destroyed. But don't quote me on that. I've had dreams where I can't remember, and then like a year later, I'll bring it up, and I just know I had a dream about it. If the heifer were born in the Middle East, it would be seen as a sign that a new era in history is beginning. Wealthy fundamentalist Christians and Zionist Israelis aren't leaving anything to chance. They want to conjure the beast themselves and give that little nudge to God by using the modern miracle of genetic engineering to create the unblemished red heifer for the sacrificial rite. Okay, so when I started thinking about that, and I found this article here, did they find the red heifer? Guess where the temple-worthy red heifer was found? It was found, this was published February 6th, 8:47 p.m. It was found in Mexico, in Baja, Mexico, by Rabbi Hershevich is a rabbi in Baja, Mexico. And now, did they use it? I don't know. It doesn't really say if they used it or not. Hershevitz felt unqualified to determine for certain whether this particular cow fulfilled the Torah requirements. The laws pertaining to the red heifer are complex, and a tiny blemish or a hair of the wrong color can render the cow unfit. Regardless of its status, just seeing something that was an integral part of the temple in Jewish history was really magnificent. A few candidates for the red heifer have been found. Most have been disqualified due to blemishes or pregnancies. In an effort to reinstate the mitzvah, the Torah commandment of purifying with the red heifer's ashes, the Temple Institute in Jerusalem last year imported embryos of red Angus, a distinctly red breed of cow, and implanted them in Israeli cows at a farm in Negev. So now they're starting to in vitro and genetically modify to get this pure red heifer. If the heifer were born in the Middle East, it would be seen as a sign that a new era in history is beginning. Oh, I already read that. It has been reported long ago that a Mississippi evangelical preacher by the name of Clyde Lott has been working with Jewish rabbis on a project that uses genetic tinkering to breed a red Angus cow and send it to Israel. Lott's project is not the only one in which Israelis and Christians are working together to birth red heifers in the Jewish state. 2 other American Christians are breeding similar cows in the United States in hopes of bringing them to Israel. Could you imagine with everything that's going on right now? I mean, with Trump winning and him supporting Israel and most everybody in America saying Israel lives forever. And I mean, everybody knows about the prophecies, and a lot of people, Christians, are familiar that they do need a pure red cow. How many people are trying to jump on the bandwagon and support Israel with this and rebuilding the temple. So in an effort of these fanatical Christians and Zionist Jews become successful and a red heifer is born, it would be the political and religious equivalent of an atom bomb. There are fundamentalist Muslims who allegedly brought down the Twin Towers. Now, fundamentalist Christians and Jews could be responsible for the birth of a beast that would give the signal for Armageddon and the rebuilding of Solomon's temple. The apocalypse and the rebuilding. Okay. The theme that is examined is that, that's something else. ISIS seems to be doing a great job of destroying all Muslim shrines, as they just destroyed the ancient artifacts in the ancient city of Nimrod. What is most unsettling is the report that an alliance of Christian fundamentalists is now saying that ISIS is hastening the apocalypse and the coming of Jesus. The barbaric actions of the Islamic State, which beheaded 21 Coptic Christians over the weekend and posted the slaughter online, should come as no surprise, because these radical Muslims are evil and their depravity is fully in keeping with their goal of hastening a final apocalypse. That's quoted of Reverend Franklin Graham. So, let's see. It has been rumored after Benjamin Netanyahu visited the United States and literally declared war on Iran that the dictator Ayatollah collapsed after 2 days later died of pancreatic cancer. And I didn't know Ariel was in a coma for 6 or 7 years. I had no idea about that. So Christians, Zionists, and Muslims are hastening the return. That's what this article is saying. I don't know, but this is really, really weird article here. So, I already read Jacob and Laban. It's kind of my little thing here. So then I was saying, well, are they gonna try to do the DNA? I started looking. Of course, they're trying to genetically modify the DNA. So here's about the priest. According to rabbinical tradition, even though the genealogical records of the temple were lost and Jews were scattered throughout Gentile lands, those of the tribe of Levi were forbidden to alter their names, which connoted with priestly heritage when assimilated into foreign cultures. Thus, we continue this day to have Levi's and Kohens and derivatives of those names. Recently, a more scientific test to verify those priestly lineages has appeared. In studies of male Jews claiming descent from Aaron, it was found that they, as a group, uniquely carry an aberration of the Y chromosome. Because each person's DNA is as individual as a fingerprint, this characteristic linked these men together as a separate and identifiable group that must be traced back to an original ancestor. Wow. It was found that they, as a group, uniquely carry an aberration of the Y chromosome. Amazing. However, even without such information to identify priest, Rabbi, blah, blah, I don't know his name, Nachman Kane, head of the Young Israel Synagogue, the closest synagogue to the Western Wall, located in the Muslim Quarter, and an institute of the Talmudic commentaries, maintain a computerized list of all known candidates in Israel. Other Orthodox organizations in Israel are helping to educate this priesthood. The yeshiva, founded by Madi Dan Hokohen, trains its students in the order of priestly service. The yeshiva states that it is not interested in activist attempts to enter the sacred precincts, but with its sister organization, Atara Leoshna, it has aggressively attempted to acquire numerous Arab properties in the Muslim Quarter next to the Temple Mount in order to establish a Jewish presence in preparation for building the temple. So, I'll probably put a link in here, but in my video, but it goes on to talk about everything that's been established already. I just really didn't realize that everything was just so close. They are getting ready. Let's see. Omer, the group cut from Omer, first wheat harvest from Israel fields. So, okay. So here was something I found. Meet the red heifer. I think they're just pulling DNA and embryos from all. And Israel is so on top of the line with all the stuff. I mean, they are making nano bees, and these bees are like bee robots. I mean, they're just making all kinds of stuff. They've already made like a wellness vaccine to kill every type of cancer. But Obama would not let it into America. He wouldn't let it launch, basically. Let's see. The ritual. There was somewhere. Here we are. No, this isn't it. I was reading about the priest. That might have been how they had everything ready. Well, I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. And also, when I was studying about Jacob and reading all about the twins and Jacob, and then he had a daughter named Dinah. I knew that, but I never knew that Dinah was Job's second wife. Isn't that crazy? I never knew that. So, alright, you guys. Oh, the preparations for the temple. Maybe this is it. Oh, yeah, okay. So, the efforts have resulted in computerized visualization and blueprints for the third temple and the production of ritually qualified vessels, garments, and other items necessary for restoration of the temple services. Known as the Temple Institute, this organization has been at the forefront of the publication of Third Temple research. Among the items that have been or are in the process of being created are apparel for the high priest. This is an 8-layered woven robe, the golden crown worn on his head, and his jeweled breastplate bearing the names of the tribes of Israel. Priestly garments and blue-purple dye for the priestly fringes on the prayer shawl, the 11 sacrificial incense spices, urns, ewers, incense pans, forks, shovels, and carts, and the gold and the silver mizrach, vessels used to dispense sacrificial blood on the altar, the golden laver, flask, and measuring cups, vessels for meal offerings, the lottery boxes for the Day of Atonement, the mortar and pestle, and the stone vessels for grinding and holding the purifying ashes of the red heifer, the golden menorah, lampstand, cleaving instruments, and oil pitchers for replenishing the oil for its light, silver trumpets for assembling Israel at the temple, and the barley altar. While a replica of the Ark of the Covenant is prominently displayed in the Temple Institute's Visitor Center, spokesmen for the Institute publicly state that they believe the original still exists in a secret chamber located under the Temple Mount beneath the site of the Holy of Holies. When access to the site is possible and all other ritual requirements have been met, they expect it to be recovered and take its place within the restored temple. Yeah, it just goes on and on. It talks about a person's, Anyway. So, and then, I also, let me do something here. I also I mentioned my other dream, Silicon Valley, red. I mentioned I heard something about Silicon Valley. Silicone. Okay. And it actually took me to this right here. Indiegogo. Raise a red heifer in Israel. Help to raise the first authentic and kosher perfect red heifer in 2,000 years in the land of Israel. Because I was like, I wonder if Silicon Valley, I mean, it was just something, I was just really reaching in my mind. I typed in Silicon Valley and red heifer, and you'd be surprised. Okay, they have raised 40,000. Just their institute has raised 40,000, and you could see all the people, all the backers. Historic photo project, replica of Holy Temple Encyclopedia, service in the temple courtyard, did 2,600. Platinum membership. You get a platinum membership card, which includes free entrance for you and your whole family to the Temple Institute. $3,600. VIP to visit the cattle ranch. Receive a private escorted tour of the ranch that is hosting and developing the Temple Institute's Red Heifer project. $25,000. So yeah, I was like, wow, I didn't know all this stuff was going on here. And I know this video's There was something else. Like, was it this one? The Red Heifer, the Temple Institute. From Moses to the Second Temple, only 9 red heifers. And I wonder if this is what the Lord was leading me to when he kept telling me about Moses, and he just wanted me to get familiar with all the stuff about what is going on as we're speaking right now. So you guys can go and just look at all this stuff. Where is that one where I seen? Okay, so there's a Facebook. There is a Facebook page. I wish I could find it. Where was it that there was that link on the bottom? Anyway, today is Israel Day. And I seen it from the link off of one of these to the Facebook. I think it's Israel Day, and all these people are at the temple. Not the temple, they're at, I wish I could find it. Was it down here more? Maybe it was this one. Yeah, there's all these people trying to get their red heifer over there. Anyway, you guys can look it up on the Facebook. It blew me away. They have pictures posted already about how they called all the Jews around in Israel to go gather and blow shofars today, and it's a celebration of 50 years or something like that. I can't remember, but there's so much my brain, all the stuff to take in, but it's good for you. It's good for me. All right, I love you guys, and I hope you're having a good day. Just want to share that with you.